I love the way he used his onset there.
Sound check.
G'day, welcome back to another vocal analysis here at Voice Essentials. My name is Dr. Dan, and today, with a great sense of nervousness, I am reviewing Dimash. Now, I know as a result, the algorithm for YouTube just sends this out to every dear one. And so I always do a Dimash review and analysis with a great sense of trepidation. So we're going to dive in and have a listen to this performance that I was constantly recommended to review by many, many dear ones over the last few months, Sinful Passion. This is, for what I can figure, certainly a live performance. We're going to see him doing this live. It's interesting, the manner of the recording, audio recording, seems to shift. I'm not sure whether there's how much post-production has been done on this, whether this was purely straight live performance. I know you're going to let me know in the comments section. Of course, it goes without saying, Dimash is a fantastic singer, and he, in this performance, displays a really wide range. He displays great breath management, great vocal control. And if you're watching this video, you almost certainly think he is the greatest in the world. I'm always reticent to call any singer the greatest in the world because singing is not a competition, it's art. And so I'm not in search of the greatest of all time or the best singer, because every singer is different. But that all being said, we're going to dive in and listen to a fantastic singer singing Sinful Passion. This is Dimash. Let's dive in, and I'll make my comments respectfully as we go along.
Как из лунного сна. О, если б знала ты, что мне нужна только ты одна.
It's a real feature of Dimash's live performances, the level of reverb and vocal effect, particularly at the commencement of performances, certainly of the ones that I've looked at and reviewed. They're so, in the biz, it's referred to as a wet vocal, and his vocals are saturated, like they're so wet. The level of verb on his vocal is extreme. It's not a bad thing. It's just an interesting feature. You don't often hear someone using as much verb on a regular basis as Dimash.
Линии долгие лилии, были ночи без сна. Но в стуже сердце озарило, как весна.
So many people love it.
Только ты одна. Дай мне.
Can I do want to appreciate just how well he transitions from different register points in his voice from one to the next, and just seamlessly moves through them. It really is a real credit to him as an accomplished, trained singer, that he so smoothly moves between those. And personally, I really love his lower register. I really do. It's just got a lovely tone to it that I really resonate with. I think most people are captivated by his upper notes right up into whistle tone. And I know some of you don't think he's using whistle tone, that it's all just one voice. Look, regardless, let's just agree to acknowledge that they're high notes, okay? Regardless of what you or I decide to call them. But that's not the stuff that really impresses me. It's more about the lower register tonal quality that he does achieve. And I think that's what displays him as a really accomplished singer.
Долгим огнем пылать во мгле и в ненастье. Дай мне,
Just adds that bit of twang in there.
дай мне ночью и днем сгорать в костре грешной страсти.
Yeah, hear that? He places that so well and just sings right through that lower melody. And that's really good. That's really good singing. And as we go along, can I also, because I'll just play a little bit here, have a watch of this bass player. Something I noticed was when I was reviewing this video is how disconnected the musos seem to be. I don't know. Maybe it's purely a cultural thing. And I'm not suggesting that it's a bad thing, but you've got this singer in the middle with this intensity of emotion, and he's really intending to be connected to the performance, and yet these musos around him, you watch them, they're brilliant, they're very good, but they're kind of just, I don't know, along for the ride. It's interesting.
Ночь сомкнула ресницы.
Now, let me comment to that little bit, because in previous reviews of Dimash, I have made the comment that I was concerned, and I hold to this, I was concerned that we were hearing some fatigue. That was never a negative comment towards his talent or skill. It was an acknowledgement that he's human and voices fatigue with extraneous use. The point I made was around the way the voice aspirated and wasn't able to maintain tone through the aspiration. I want to make a point here just so that you can appreciate my authenticity of review. You don't hear the actual core tone breakup. In this particular performance, and I'm taking it at face value as being a live rendition, not a pre-record that he's mouthing, we don't hear the voice break up. We hear the core tone being maintained. There is clarity in this sound. Let me take it back and just have a listen. There is a breathiness, there is an ambience that sits around the tone, but the core tone is clear, it's consistent. Have a listen. Hear that?
Забыты звуки, руки, лица. Мне нужна только ты одна.
Hear the tone continue. Good.
Околдован тобою.
Oh, I love the way he used his onset there. Listen to how we get a little bit of a hard onset there. But you know what that does? It takes us from being a breathy, soft onset to activating the vocal folds so that they engage and leave that breathiness behind. And he uses that little glottal stop at the very beginning. It's very slight, but it's enough to activate the vocal folds so that they dispense with that breathiness. Have a listen. It happens ever so quickly. Here it comes, right at the beginning of the sound. Hear that? Clever, very clever. Because now we're in a fully clean tone. So notice that entire phrase was not the breathy ambience that we had before. Have a listen to it again, because he's made the choice now to clean the tone. This is one of the features, I think, of Dimash, is his constant movement of tonal feature. Yeah, where we at one point we've got breathiness, more often than not at the beginning, into clean tone, lower register, upper register, falsetto into whistle tone. Terminology aside, it's certainly a very skillful movement across the entire vocal range, which is reported to be around 7 octaves.
Выпью зелье до дна, и ты вернешь меня из бездны в этот мир.
You hear that's clean?
Только ты одна.
Even that la. Oh, I love that.
Долгим огнем пылать в огне и пенасти. Дай мне ночью и днем сгорать в костре грешной страсти.
Now this is interesting, and I noticed this when I was first reviewing the video. The recording shifts here. It goes from a really full sense of sound to quite a thin, almost like the vocal just gets dropped back in the mix. I'm not making a suggestion as to why or for what reason. It's just interesting to me. Have a listen. I'm going to take it back a little bit further just so you can hear the way it moves into that. So that's quite forward in the mix. And then it falls back. If you've got any ideas, leave them in the comments section below. It's impressive, no question. I really like this. And I'm not familiar with the cultural aspect of this, but that shaking of the voice, that it's not what we'd refer to as a true tremolo, as in it's actually referencing 2 notes from what I can gather. Let me take it back and have a listen to the way he goes into it. But also, again, can you hear the change in the audio quality? I love that. That's very clever. The rate at which he speeds that up. Great big note. Oh, now that's very clever to do. That's very clever to do. He uses a pitch glide to orientate to the modulation. So because he's in one key and he has to shift to the next key, but the band has fully dropped out. And so there's a need, because of the melodic choices he's making in, I don't know whether they're determined to be an ad-lib, an improv section, but certainly it has a sense in which he's kind of playing around in this alla voce kind of space, this free voice kind of space. And then to make sure he arrives at the pinpoint, accurate arrival point for the modulation entry point, he pitch glides to it. And so he's just going to glide up and wait for the band to come in, and then bang, he hits it. It's very clever. Have a listen to how he does that. Just at the last minute, nails it. Yeah. Disinterested musos. They're not disinterested. But it is interesting, just their sense of, really placid look. It's such a contrast to what we're seeing from Dimash, who is so intensely engaged in what he's doing. I think that deserves a standing ovation. I really do. And flowers to boot. He is fantastic. He really is. You probably think he's the greatest of all time. I'm not personally prepared to give him that title, but that's because I'm not prepared to give anyone that title. I think every singer has their place. The best singer in the world, at the point that a grandma sings a lullaby to her grandchild, that's the best singer in the world in that moment. Right through to a Dimash, who is receiving flowers for having done outstanding things with their voice. It's just recognizing that it's horses for courses. And, here at Voice Essentials, we believe it's the birthright of every human being to sing. Please subscribe if you're enjoying these analyses, and make sure you check out my other reviews of other singers who are really, really good. One of my favorites at the moment is Morissette, so make sure you check out her reviews. She's also very, very good. And I very much look forward to seeing you next time for the next vocal analysis. I'm Dr. Dan. Sing well.